Alright, let's see if this will work this time. After a quick reboot. Let me get this out. Just give me 1 second. I gotta resend out all these notifications. Oh man, come on, Elon, you're slacking, bub. Slacking. Sorry. Almost. Last one. It's still dropping frames, but I rebooted the PC and I rebooted the internet, the modem, so we'll give it a shot. I'll record it this way. If I lose it again, at least I can upload it. So let's do that. Just bear with me. Hit the start record. There we go. Nice. Alright, sorry about that, guys. Moving on. I do not know where I was, so we'll start all over. Or how much you heard, because OBS was disconnected. Everything was just going haywire. But that's alright. We are back. So, Bitcoin. Massive sell-off last night during the Asian session. It doesn't look big when you pull the chart out and look at the weekly chart. We are still trading inside of a price range. Last night, yesterday evening, we lit up above this swing high here. That is normal. That is absolutely 100% normal price action. This is why we here at Trade Talk aim for those levels. Those are our target or our profit taking levels. Because once the very swing high of a market range gets taken out, generally you will see a pullback. And then potentially see the market head all the way down and take out the low side of the range. So right now, what I wanted to see was Bitcoin to come in and test this support zone. Now we are well below it. I understand this, but if Bitcoin does indeed find support at daily demand and then trades back above the level, then it could potentially hold a support and we could see that bounce. The only thing that Bitcoin broke out of was this daily downtrend. It did not break out of price. So for all of the people calling this a short squeeze, they need to go back to Technical Analysis 101 and relearn their craft, because you're not squeezing anything when you're range bound. All right, this is range bound. In fact, if we go to the 12-hour chart, you didn't even close above 12-hour resistance. There it is. There's your 12-hour resistance. Here's your test, fail. That's 12-hour res. That's not a short squeeze. Short squeeze is when you get above price. Now, what we're going to look for is we're going to watch to see if the daily demand zone holds, and that level is here. And if it fails, then the next area we're going to watch will be the weekly support level. Let's move this up. And that is here. All right. So there probably are a couple levels in here, like on the daily or 8 or 4 hour charts, that you could potentially find for more support. But these are going to be the two levels that I will be watching for the rest of the week. All right. If we lose this level, this weekly support level, then obviously I'm going to be targeting this swing low on the liquidator candle. It's as simple as that. All right. So moving on, I can't find any news in Bloomberg. Bloomberg's really good for general markets like foreign exchange and stock markets, and every now and then they will come out with a breaking story on crypto, but I found absolutely nothing on this sell-off. Absolutely nothing. There's like no shock in Bloomberg, no news that would cause it. So essentially all it is it's a run above this, and then that's where people took profits. That's where I took profits. That's where everybody else took profits. And you're seeing that in the form of a push lower. Now, $50,000 is where a lot of your bigger hedge funds and investment banks are going to want to see Bitcoin hold. And if it loses 50 grand and cannot go back up into it, you're going to see a lot of those guys sell their positions. We know for 100% certainty that the supply is setting at around 60,000 bucks. So let me get this up here, 60 grand, as close as I can. All right, so We know this is where the supply is in Bitcoin. We know that because over here, when we made our first push up into the new all-time high, we could not close a weekly candle above 60K. And then over here, when we took out the old all-time high and made a new all-time high, we only had two-week candle closes above 60 grand. So that's 1 month, essentially about a month, where price just traded sideways. Didn't put any range expansions on. All it did was traded sideways and boom, drop. So this is selling occurring over 60 grand. A lot of selling, a lot more selling than buying, to be exact. Otherwise, Bitcoin would have did a short squeeze over here when it took out the old swing high. You did not get a short squeeze, did you? You took out the all-time high twice and you fell. This is indicative of a 3-drive topping formation. All right, people want to call it Wyckoff. Go ahead. I don't care what you call it. You can call it the trade talk topping formation if you want to. I'm okay with that. It is what it is. It's the same scenario. During price moving higher with an insignificant high, bigger people are dropping off. They're selling their positions. Not so much short sellers, guys. It's hodlers, people who hold a large amount of Bitcoin. They are the ones that start the sell-off. Short sellers will just jump on board and help the push lower. So that's what it is. And then right now, until you get above 60K, you're not squeezing nothing. There's nothing to squeeze. And in fact, I would say that's probably where you're going to see another load up on the short side if Bitcoin were to trade back up there. Bitcoin's in really touchy land right now, with the monetary policy doing a complete 180-degree turnaround. Whether you believe they're going to be able to hike or not is irrelevant. It makes no difference what you believe will happen next year. What matters is what the Fed has said. They have came out and said they are stopping taper, right? And then they're going to hike rates. They got 3 hikes planned for 2022, 3 hikes planned for 2023, and according to their dot plot matrix, another 1 hike in 2024. That's 7 hikes in the next 2 years, 3-year span. So we'll see. I don't think that they do it, but we'll see, right? Nevertheless, that's not great for Bitcoin, because when the Fed adopted this insane bubble-ish monetary policy, Bitcoin was trading at $5,000 down here, right? The Fed comes in, drops interest rates down to nothing, then starts purchasing assets. And what does Bitcoin do? It goes straight to the moon. So we have been living in a time where monetary policy was extremely bullish for risk assets. Now that's doing a 180. Now I'm not calling a market crash. I'm not calling a top. I am simply stating the markets may start to get a little bit crazy. And this is when you're going to need to learn how to trade or know how to trade. I just don't think hodling is going to pay the bills in 2022. That's just my opinion, right? We're going to see a lot of market volatility. So the big key regions right now for investment bankers, hedge funds, yada yada, is going to be 50 grand and 60 grand. If Bitcoin's trading under 50 grand for very long, you're going to see 40 grand more than likely. And then we don't know what's going to happen after that. We just keep watching price and we trade from week to week. That's what we do. We look for range expansions to enter and exit our positions to make profits. So the Heath level that I'll be watching, or the demand zone that I will be watching, is $49,063.45. You can see that Bitcoin is absolutely trying to go below that right now, right? This is not a bounce that I want to see at a level like that. But to be honest with you, this is not a pullback. This is a pullback. Traded down in right where we needed to. I added on more position. That brought my cost basis up to around 49 grand. In this acceleration to the upside, I took profits, leaving just a little piece on. And then when we started to do this, I just went ahead and exited the position. Now I am looking to re-add bullish. I have seen nothing to stop my bullish bias yet. All right. It's a lot of selling, but I also know that support can come rapidly in this asset. So we'll watch it and see if it finds support. Once again, if it does not, the next level we will be looking for support will be the weekly. And then after that, Yeah, I'm be targeting lows, that swing low. And that's pretty much it on Bitcoin. Let's go out here to the weekly real quick so I can pull up the moving average, because I know a lot of people have all kinds of indicators up and stuff, and they're calling, you know what, it is what it is. Here it is, though. Let's get rid of everything except the one that you need. Boom, 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 boom. Here we go. You can see that typically the 21 exponential moving average has been a decent place to put on more risk on Bitcoin and uptrends. That's the key, and an uptrend. All right. Down here we lost the 21, and the 21 held price for quite a while until that B-Word podcast news event happened and gave Bitcoin some more fire under its feet. I don't know. We need something like that again, I guess. So here you can see that the exponential 21 on a weekly time frame is indeed currently holding price down. But those are targeted areas anyways. Those are areas where we look to exit our positions, right? The indicators are just going to tell you what price has already told you. So understand how to look at price and price alone. I think it will absolutely help you out a lot better. And that's pretty much it, right? Right now we just got to wait. It's a waiting game. Mr. Bitcoin has to find support. We can go look at ETH. As I heard a couple people say that ETH is extremely weak. I have not looked at it. It's not extremely weak. You broke out above a daily downtrend as well. You can see here had an area of support. That level fell yesterday, and you're testing the low end of daily support right now, 38.7602. Also, you're testing that trend line. Let's just see where, well, there's no reason to see on the daily. We know that the exponential moving averages are probably all above price, including the 200 on a daily time frame. So let's just go look. Nope, the 200 is well below price. So ETH is still structured more bullish than Bitcoin because Bitcoin has lost all of its major moving averages. But yeah, testing support right now, 38.7602. Will this level hold or not? That's anybody's guess. It's anybody's guess, but it is daily support, so I do expect at least a small bounce from here. Price can wick under it, obviously, but I am expecting a small bounce from here, at least back up to 39.78, which will take you into daily supply. But it's a daily supply zone that's real close to near-term price. I generally don't like those levels. The main one that will be indeed affecting price would be $44,051.90, which would be that candle there. So just bring that baby up right there, and that's where you're going to be looking for potential resistance if indeed Ethereum and Bitcoin bounces from support. That has to happen first. Price is king. We need to let price show us where support is. Let's go see what happened to Luna, because Luna has been on an absolute tear lately. Just, I mean, taking out. That's a short squeeze. That's what a short squeeze looks like. This, not what Bitcoin's doing right now. But yeah, it's seeing a little bit of fall too. It's printed a bearish engulfing, aka outside day reversal candle. Now it doesn't mean that it is going to continue to be a reversal, but it is what people look for if they are looking for reversal patterns. Supply is going to be $98.32, so you got to get a daily closure back above that before you can say that this asset is heading back up, right? It could reverse there. You could get a support test and hold here, and then you could see price go into price discovery and start to form a range and see slight to up price action back up to $98. Now, can you trade from this range low to that range high? You can if this holds support. Right now, the momentum is obviously in the bears' court, so you don't want to step in front of a train. You want to wait for that support to show itself. All right. That's Luna, and the rest of them are red. Every single asset on KuCoin's exchange except for Bitcoin Dominance, and that one and AVAX is all red. Red. AVAX is green on the day. Look at that. That's fantastic. This asset has been a little bit stronger as well. Let's pull this over here to daily resistance, because what would have been daily support, you're already inside of it. Or not support, supply. You're already inside of what would have been daily supply. Daily supply would have been that there. So right now you're currently testing resistance. If this level falls, or might be a decent spot if you think the bearishness is going to continue. Look at that, bounced right off of daily support. I mean, it's so simple. My analysis is so simple and it's so accurate. Look at that. Boom. Reversed. So right now you're going to watch resistance, and that's 115.104. Resistance is the close of bullish candles. 115.070. Sorry. That's what you're going to look. You can see that you've already tested that level, and you did get a bearish reaction off of it. Boom. So now what's going to happen is, if this asset's going to pull back from this selling, it definitely needs to get a close above that and continuation. If you get a close above hourly resistance or daily resistance, then you got to watch the next hour for sure to make sure that that was not a bear or a bull trap. Excuse me. All right, so yeah, that's what we're gonna watch. AVAX might actually be a short setup, guys. For all you trade talk people listening, take a watch of AVAX 114 spot 30. Watch the next hourly close. You got 2 minutes. 2 minutes. If this thing closes below that, I might be looking to take a short on AVAX. Everything is still structured bullish. I'm not getting bearish on you guys. I am an intraday scalper, so this is what I do. I trade daily ranges. And right now, that's a pretty good bounce, though. There's no doubt about it. So just keep an eye on AVAX. Let me go ahead and throw that on my watch list. Just make sure that I have this, paying attention to this. Let me get rid of this. That was yesterday's gapper. Still watching USD Turkish Lira. For the bounce, we are getting the bounce. It was absolutely a thing of beauty. Here you got this push lower, and then you traded right back up into it. So this was the hourly support level that I was watching on it. You can see that it broke down below it, came back, it was treating it as resistance, and then there's the breakout above, and then there's the retest to get long here, right? Breakout above, retest to get long. Bing! That's your long entry. And if you took in that position, then you're in great shape and you're just holding. Now the thing of it is this is obviously bearish. It's the biggest move in FX's history. A 38% drop in the span of a couple days. There has never been anything like that. The biggest move in FX history up until this point was Euro Swissy, when the Swiss franc dropped the peg and Euro Swissy fell like crazy. That was a 20-something% drop. This was a 38% drop. It is a massive, massive move in FX. So be very careful if you are trading this asset. It is volatile. All right, and then another asset that I was looking for to find support is the USDCAD, which is the Chinese yuan. And the only reason I'm looking for this to find support somewhere, I don't know where it's going to find support, but I do have levels that I am watching. This one and this one. These are the two levels that I am going to be looking for support, because China has basically said that they want to start selling their currency, which would put a lot of bearishness under the yuan. Paired against the dollar, you could see a bounce in this asset, the USD or CNH, and you can see that it has been crippling trading against the dollar, right? It has crushed the dollar for a very, very long time. So we will see. I mean, is this a spot to potentially look for bullish reversals? I mean, even for a bounce. Yeah, it is, right? You took out that swing low there with this push lower. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This massive swing low where the buy side liquidity is, or the lower sellers, you know what I mean? If you're going to be a buyer of this asset, you want to buy it as low as possible. So by this wick taking out that swing low generates a whole lot of willing sellers at a lower price. Boom. So that obviously got bought up because the wick turned bullish. This candle turned back from bearish to bullish on a close, seeing a push up into weekly supply, and that caused a bit of a sell-off. And this week, we're not doing anything as of right now. So it doesn't mean that this push lower is over, right? This is why we have to watch these areas to see what's what. You have tested weekly supply. We'll go back out to the daily, and you can see that here. Right? It's tested it, and so far it's holding. Daily support is right at, or it's right at daily support. Another one, EURUSD. Took a swing at this yesterday and I got stopped out. I am looking for this thing to break out, or at least push up and take out all these highs. Now that red bearish candle that you see there did take out these swing highs, right? So that generally makes the high probable trade over with when that occurs, because you have indeed taken out swing highs and you did get a bearish reaction. The problem is it's trading sideways at the upper end of the range. It is bullish on the day. Yesterday, I basically told everybody in my thing that I was going to be watching the daily support zone. So if you got a push below it on the daily, look for that to be a potential area to buy during the London session. And that's exactly what happened. The London session pushes down into that daily area. That's the area to buy. The problem is it didn't happen on Oanda. You are slacking, Oanda. What the F is wrong with you? So here we go. There's Oanda. We'll do that, do that, do that. And you can see you did not push down the daily support. And that's what the majority of people were watching. Unfortunately, they didn't get the trade. But if you watch the 8-hour, you could have potentially taken entry on your 8-hour Heath level. As you can see, there was a push right into that. All right, so yeah, it's choppy, it's sideways. It's probably best to leave the asset alone anyways until it shows us a clear trend, as you're always going to make the most money in this market by trading with the trend. Unless you are a fantastic trader and you like to trade the ranges. If you are patient and you take profits when you're supposed to because you realize you're trading a range, then you can trade the ranges. You can trade the range highs and the range lows. But you got to be very, very disciplined for that kind of strategy. Most people enter a buying position and they assume that it's going to start a new trend just because they got long. That's not how price works. It is struggling here. You can see that this range is very, very tight. So even from, let's go back to forex.com real quick. So even if you did take this position, you're only, 14 pips into the trade. So your daily high has been taken out as well, right? There is your open over here. And that would have been your daily swing high. You have already taken out the daily swing high. So that trade is over, right? That trade on the euro is over. The high probable trade anyways. This is your open. Price trades up, sets in a high of day. Sell off a little bit during the Asian session, London session. Swing down, take out this swing low. That's stop losses. Take that out. And then boom, shakalaka to the upside. And take out any shorts up here. That's what price does. It takes out old swing highs and old swing lows, and it liquidates retail left and right. That's why I developed the strategy the way that I have. These are our target areas because of that. Because it's also the market's target areas. All right? All right, so that's that on the euro. Let's see if we can find anything real quick, and then I'll start answering questions. We are getting a little bit past where I would like to go. I don't want to look at on KuCoin. Let me go to my FX real quick. Let's just scroll down. I mean, EURUSD is setting like dead even. So it's still anybody's guess. I still have an intraday bullish bias on it. Or an intra-week bullish bias on it because it is ranging at the highs. But it doesn't mean that that's going to happen. Euro yen, what are you doing? Euro yen is broken out. So is pound yen. That's right, that's what we can talk about. Let's go look at pound yen real quick. So pound yen, when we get close to the end of the quarter or the end of the year, obviously I like to basically do like a year-end review just simply by looking at the candlesticks. This was resistance until you got this, right? That's your break above this resistance on a quarterly basis. You are trading above Q2 resistance here. All right. You did have a slight pullback last quarter, and this quarter you've been bullish. Essentially, you're still bullish. Now we did have a massive pullback, but you can see here that you're trading back higher. This is your quarterly resistance, and seeing how there is 3 days and 11 hours left on the quarter, I will be paying attention to this level, as it can be important moving forward into 2022. It could shape my bias, whether I be bearish or bullish on the pound yen for the first quarter 2022. Sorry. So you can see here, off log, you're above a trend line. On log, you've never even tested it. So trend lines are subjective. That's what we've learned there. And basically, like I said, found support. So that's going to be a key level. If this candle closes back below Q2 resistance, then I may potentially be looking for shorts aiming back down towards this swing low. If we close above it, then my next target on the pound yen is going to be 158.019, which would be simply that swing high. All right. So this is what I'm talking about here, is to make it easier on you. So depending on where it closes, now it doesn't mean that if it closes above resistance that it will go up there. It just puts the probabilities in my favor, right? And also on the Q RSI you're above. So we'll see what happens, but this will be my bearish target if indeed we close below resistance. If we close above resistance, that'll be my bullish target. And you can see here that it's not very far away from near-term price, right? That's this rapid swing, and it's as simple as that. You did get a close above daily resistance yesterday, and you're seeing bullish continuation today. That is the near-term target right there. So what could possibly happen is you could see this trade up, take out this target, right? Wicks are always targets. We don't treat wicks as support or resistance. They are targets. There's your target. If that gets taken out and has a massive rejection, then it's simply going to be looked at with short-sided biases starting next year, right? All right, and that's pretty much it. So let me see what people are talking about this fantastic morning. Yo, it works now. Yes, it does. Internet sucks here, but that's nothing new. Alex says he likes the tunes. I appreciate that. It's just popular music, or what the platform that I'm using for the music deems as popular music. Good morning, Ajith, my brother. Let's go, says Ray V. Heath, the bears dropped frames like... Oh, Heath, the bears dropped frames like Bitcoin. Yep. My platform was dropping frames like Bitcoin. Seems good. Good morning. Can you take a look at Bitcoin miners, Mara and Riot? Thank you. Yeah, we can. They're probably going to be gapping down this morning. Okay? Because Bitcoin had a push lower. So let's go see what's what. So you didn't even get above weekly resistance. Well, you did slightly get above weekly resistance, but you didn't close a daily or a weekly above it yet. Let's see where we are on the daily. I don't think the daily did either. You did not. You did not close above weekly resistance. So, you know, that's crucial, right? It's key. Now, I wouldn't be looking to take shorts, not knowing, like, for instance, pretend we don't know that Bitcoin had a fall, right? Like if I was going into today on Mara at the market open, the way I'd be approaching this asset is I'd be watching it to see how it reacts around that level. If I got like a 5-minute spike up into it and then a bearish reaction, then I would look for shorts. But like I said, I am a near-term day trader. That's what I do. Longer term, it's going to follow Bitcoin because this company, Mara and Riot, or Riot especially, has become a 100% Bitcoin mining operation. So whatever Bitcoin does, these are going to follow, and the price action is going to be real close. So we know this is more than likely going to have a gap down. Where? I don't know. You just have to wait until you get that data. Thinkorswim might already have it. I'm not sure, but that's Mara, right? It's going to do what Bitcoin does. I can give you weekly support and weekly resistance, and that's it, because there's nothing else in between. We are in a new week, so we are watching this weekly range expansion. And as of right now, what I do not like about it is it had that first initial push up, so it looks like the weekly range expansion wants to go lower. So watch weekly support at 33.85. That's where I expect this thing to hold. If not, then you're going much lower. Much lower. But it looks just like Bitcoin. And then Riot. Right, exactly the same thing. You can see how this weekly support level right here hasn't been closed below yet. And then this must be a daily level because it's in this weekly range. You can see that it did act as support. So whoever I told to watch that level for support, and trust me, I did tell someone to watch this level of support because the line is there. That was a good spot to look for bullish entries because it held. There it is. Boom, boom. Later. That's how you're supposed to do this. That's the proper technical analysis into daily resistance. And yesterday you closed below it. You traded much above it but closed below it. That's crucial info. That means the day was not strong enough to hold its rally, the daily rally. And you closed back below resistance. So yeah, pullback is inevitable, especially now that we know that Bitcoin had a fall. Now, currently Bitcoin's testing this daily demand zone. So you're probably going to see a gap all the way down to 2367 or 76. Not guaranteed, but potentially. So yeah, bounce. We should see a bounce. The problem is you're going to have supply right above you. So the bounce could potentially go to there. It could go higher. We can't predict what price will do. We just know the levels to watch price at. That's the edge, right? Knowing where to watch. And that's pretty much it. I mean, they're going to do what they do. And I did look at USD Turkish lira for a minute. The trade was yesterday. No, it's on watch. The trade was yesterday. So we were looking for it to ultimately find support, but since it was such a fresh move to the downside, it really didn't have what set in a daily support, but we were already trading under the daily support. So I found this support level that I was watching break down below. This was just a stop run. That's all it was. You didn't get underneath that wick. You were just simply stopping out people that got long here, right? Once price broke back above that level, this support zone upon this retest would have been where you wanted to look to get long. And that was at the beginning of the London session. So that was the entry. As of right now, you should have been taking profits once you got up into the daily high, which would have been on this candle here. You would have taken 2/3 of your position off. So that would have been an entry here and exit there, right? Or at least take 2/3 of the position off, move your stop to break even. This way now you have a position left with the casino's money on the line, not yours. That totally removes your risk out of the market and also pays you for your trouble. And then you just let it ride. What I'm expecting is I am expecting a much bigger bounce. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, but this was a massive drop. So I am expecting at least a 50% retracement from that. So at least to push up to 1450 over time, or 1433, apologies. And that could take weeks and months even to get, right? So if you go look at the EURUSD now, obviously past performance is not indicative of future results. Everybody knows that, right? But if you just look at, sorry, let me get over here. If you just look at this move right here, right? That was the peg. There's your peg. There's the drop. Once you dropped and took out the peg, stopped everybody out, that was a buying opportunity. We know that in hindsight, obviously, but it's also a buying opportunity just because of how massive the drop was. That leaves a massive inefficiency in the Forex market, the foreign exchange market, right? That efficiency is going to get priced out. And it did. Here's price. Took months and months. Look what happens. Price trades all the way back to the peg. Now that was the short to take. Traded all the way back up to the peg. So price essentially priced out that inefficiency from that massive drop. And then traded lower and has been ever since. Now it's a weekly time frame, so that's been years and years, right? The initial drop happened in 2015. And you got that there. So took a long time. And then that's what I'm going to say. Could potentially look for on this. Right? At least a trade up into that area. That's where I'm looking. Just mind your risk, because it doesn't mean it's going to work. CRV USDT on KuCoin, says KF. Yes. So it's having a small pullback as well. Daily resistance held. Daily res. Price traded up into daily resistance and it held. You can see that I was watching that level and it held. I did not take a short on it though because it was so bullish. And you closed like, even though you tested it and closed red on the day, I was looking for a potential pushback up into daily resistance before I got short, and it never occurred. So I didn't take a short position on it. It did not give me a setup. I need my setups to happen before I will take positions. Always. You're testing well below daily demand. Well below it. So I don't know what to say about it. You know what I mean? This is also support, and you're trading below support. $5.18. It's a big range candle, so you can look in the smaller time frames to see if you can find a supply zone to look for potential shorts. I mean, I don't know if price will get all the way back up to 568. It just depends on what Bitcoin does. If Bitcoin becomes bullish again, these are going to be the first spots that I'm going to look. Right? That's if Bitcoin becomes bullish again. If it just free falls, then I don't see you getting a test of that. Maybe the 4 hour. The 4 hour's a little lower, so I would start with that. And it puts you about the midpoint of this range. So look for a spike up to 556. And then watch it. See if that level holds as resistance. If it does, then we could potentially look for short setups there. Targeting back down to the swing low. You're at 4 hour support. Boom. Doop, doop. You know what I mean? So you're not looking to short this. You'd never look to short into support, guys. You wait for the bounce. Right? But it doesn't look great. How big of a pullback is that? I mean, it was looking great. It's a 20% pullback. I mean, that's highs. That's your all-time highs on this exchange. You're trading right back at the all-time highs. So, I mean, it's stronger than Bitcoin. So this might be something to look to short, right? If Bitcoin does start to drop further, you want to maybe short the assets that are up on highs rather than looking for the weaker assets, because there's more meat left on that bone. Rose, please, says Ahmad. But I don't know what Rose is. I don't know if it's a crypto. So I'll just do this, and it sure is. Oasis. Are these the same assets? Rose and Oasis. I don't know what it is. What in the world's going on here with this music? Some funky stuff for you. Alright. So, Rose. USDT. Traded up into 4 hour supply, and you fail. But you're trading right there, so it's not a massive rejection. But I'm assuming that test of the resistance was probably an opportunity to get short. You didn't completely test it, but we'll see. Time will tell if that would have been a valid entry or not. So take a look at your daily. Oh, this is daily. I thought I was still on the 4 hour. It's a bit early. So there's daily res. So keep an eye on that. You need a daily close back above it to test your swing high if it's bullish. If it's not bullish, then it's gonna stall there and potentially head back down to demand at 31 cents and then under it. Support will be the bottom of that. So support will be 30 cents. $0.40, 30 cents on support. For the rose bush, I don't know what it is. Let's go look and see real quick though, because it is Oasis. It's the same exact asset. I don't know what it is, but it's on the highs, so it's strong. It's, you know what I'm saying? It's a good asset. These are the kind of assets that you guys want to invest in if you're looking long term, right? Something that goes up. Not something that goes straight down. That's the wrong stuff to buy. Especially in the biggest bull market in the entire history of the world. Because of monetary policy, 2020 and 2021. The biggest bull market ever of all time in the whole entire world in history. Because of monetary policy. That monetary policy is doing a 180. So if your asset was going down in the biggest bull market in the whole entire world, probably not a good investment. Or maybe it turns around in a bear market when everything else goes into a bear market. If. Well, it's not if, it's when, right? Bear markets happen. They're inevitable. Unless the Fed just keeps printing, as they have been doing. I guess that could keep it up. Strong dollar in 2022, Heath. That's what I'm looking for. Does not mean it'll happen, but it is what I'm looking for. The DXY is trying to break down right now out of whatever this is, right? You still got multiple supports under you. I mean, you haven't broken down below that one or that one or that one. So, I mean, there's a ton of support confluence down here just in the form of candles. Then you have demand there. So, I mean, this is a range that the dollar has to break down below and then find support somewhere and then look for it to move higher. It is structured bullish. On the daily, you're still above the 50 on the RSI, so that's nothing. And you've done it on highs, right? You're essentially consolidating at the highs. I'm not talking about all-time highs. I'm talking about yearly highs, right? Here, let's go to year to date. There you go. Year to date. That's your asset, right? It's bullish. It's bullish on the year. So you don't look to short bullish assets unless you're just looking for a day trade. But longer term, you will fare better if you get in the direction of the trend. You're just lost the 21 exponential moving average. Let's go see where we are on the weekly. Oh, on the weekly, you got room to go lower before you find a bounce even. I mean, 21's all the way down here. So yeah, I mean, it could consolidate, but I am looking for bullish dollar 2022. I would love to be wrong. I would love it more than anything to be wrong, guys. I'm a Bitcoin hodler myself. I am accumulating though, so as far as I'm concerned, Bitcoin can go lower. I'd love it. That just means I get to buy more and I get to short it on the way down. Now, what's not to love? I don't see what everybody's afraid of. Everybody else is afraid of Bitcoin going lower. I know why. It's because they're over leveraged. They've stuck their neck out at too high prices. But if you trade like this, right, you don't have to worry about anything because you can make money on the way down just as you can on the way up. It doesn't really matter to me what Bitcoin does. Longer term, I am bullish and I am going to hodl. I think Bitcoin will be worth $1 million one day, and I want to own as much of it as possible. So I can buy that island that Wes always plays around like I'm on because of my internet connection. So I can buy that island. That's what I want to happen. But we'll see what happens. The dollar looks like it's trying to break down, but this could be just a bear trap, right? Weekly resistance is probably the one I would pay attention to, but unfortunately that means you got to wait until Friday to see where it closes in perspective of one another, right? Expect a small pullback. I could see this all the way down to 95.15, and I don't think it goes all the way back down to there, 94.14. But if it does, I mean, that's potentially going to be a buying opportunity. Potentially going to be a buying opportunity. The Fed policy, monetary policy is shaping up, and it should be bullish dollar, right? Should be bullish dollar. Can you check pound USD yearly? Yes. Thank you for reminding me. I wanted to talk about that as well. So you can see here, I got all kinds of crazy stuff going on. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. All right, let's go to the quarterly chart. Stretch them out. So this one on log, you can see on logarithmic, on log, you can see that trend line's holding on a quarterly closing basis. Big trend line. Off log, and you've already broken out above it. Once again, trend lines are subjective. So, and log doesn't do anything to price, except it shows your percentage move. But the price is the price. The fact that your trend line changes just because of the percentage of the move shows you something. Like this level here, right? Let's call that resistance. That doesn't change whether I'm on log or not. Let's get rid of this. My support and resistance levels, my supply and demand levels, they are objective levels. Objective. That means they are built in fact. That closed there. You cannot dispute that fact. You have not been able to close a quarterly candle over it. You cannot dispute that fact. On log or off, it is the same price. Price is king. But this is what we were watching. We were looking for the pound to break out above that trend line on log as well, because then you would have, you have broken out above a trend line, a downtrend for its entire history, essentially, for the first time ever, right? But it didn't happen. You found resistance there and multiple confluences of resistance. Then you've seen a quarter push lower. Then you had the awesomest short side entry of the year. Fourth quarter, pound short. Tested quarterly res. Boom, shakalaka. Right? There it is. You don't get any better. You don't get any easier than that, my friends. Don't get any easier than that. So now you're testing support. There. That was last quarter's close. Not subjective. Right now you're testing it. You're playing around with it. You're still red on the quarter. So there's not like an obvious place that I'm like on pound yen. There's not like an obvious place where I want to look for those potential quarterly positions or beginning of the year 2022 positions. But on the pound yen there is. So that's just going to be, I guess that's going to be an individual assessment. All right, but it's testing or it's reaching up for that quarterly support. If it's going to hold, you'd potentially get a push above that swing high first, maybe, right? Everything works in trading, just not all the time. But that would be the bullish target. Once you got above 135, 137, and you were to reject there and then close the year out below quarterly resistance, I would potentially be looking for another push up into it to get short, right? Take that as a day trade. Take 2/3 of the position off and you start to break even and just sit back and relax for the entire year. But a lot of people, not a lot of people, there are a few analysts out there that I do respect and look up to, or not look up to, but listen to and value their opinion, essentially. They're looking to buy the pound right now. They have their reasons. They live over there, for one. So they're more in tune with the monetary policy across the pond than I am. So they're looking to buy the pound. And it's been a decent trade for them so far. But it's the end of the year. So this could just simply be an end of the year rally. Or a Christmas rally. Santa Claus rally. And that's another one you got to go look at. SPX. It's on the thumbnail and I haven't even talked about it. Get it together, man. Alright, so yeah, Santa Claus rally came true and SPX, right? This is the S&P 500. It is the mother of all products, as Don Kaufman likes to call it. big, strong breakout, man. That's when it's a legit breakout, right? That's not just a liquidity grab and then a push lower. That's strength. That's strength. End of year strength. Pushes up, closes a strong daily above the breakout area, and you're seeing bullish continuation this morning. There is no levels, none, for me to judge this by. If you want to look at this as an impulse correction impulse, then you can use your fib extension tool. Go from swing low to swing high to swing low, and that'll potentially give you targets. Well, I have them all turned off for whatever reason. I must have been doing some BLX and stuff, right? But you could potentially look for that on this massive push. So about almost $5,000. I don't know if it occurs. We don't know if it's going to happen, but obviously you don't want to buy it now either. You're buying the absolute all-time high. You need to let it pull back. Needs to pull back. Like every rally has been bought up until now. But like I said, monetary policy 180, so things are going to be different, more than likely. It's not a guaranteed that everything's going to be different. It's just more than likely. I think you need to see a new look. Yeah, I got tired of looking at the old colors. Figured I'd do something different for 2022. I got a lot of shazamming to do from today's tunes. Bradley, I can give them all to you, my friend. You don't have to Shazam any of it. When the live stream's over, I'll give you all of them. Partners with Facebook for Metaverse thingy. I don't know. Oh, gotcha. Rose is partners with Facebook for Metaverse. Gotcha, my friend. XU100. Oh man, I don't know where this is, but it's definitely not American. We've looked at this before for somebody. Might have been you. Man, it had this is Turkey's index. This is the Turkish lira. It says BIS 100 index, but that's the Turkish lira. That's basically what it did. It's gappy. I think you should just look at USDTRY. I think you're going to have better luck, but you might not be able to trade it, and you are able to trade this. So if that is the case, then the analysis rests. I'm still looking for a pullback, at least up into that 50% retracement level. So just take your Fibonacci retracement tool, not the extensions, the retracement. Take it from swing high to swing low, and that gives you, I just keep the 50 and 618 on mine. The other ones are useful to some, just not me, because I'm a price action analyst. I analyze candlesticks. That's where I take my levels from. But there aren't any in here, not on the daily, right? You got one there that closed as a green candle, so that'll be your first area of potential resistance, 20, 54, 26. But I don't like dojis. So let's see if a 12-hour looks better. It does not. 8-hour. 8-hour gives you a good one. Potential resistance, 1953.32, right? Until you get an 8-hour close above this, that will be looked at as a potential area to take profits for anybody that got long up into here. Then you're going to want to see a pullback. And it needs to hold at support. So support would be here. And this is on 8-hour time frame. That may differ from the daily, or it will differ from the daily. So there's where you would want to look to see at the very lowest close. And then that could potentially be an area for bullish entries, looking for that to break, for this to retrace and basically price out all this move lower. Now it doesn't have to, because it wasn't as swift as the Euro Swiss move. This was massive. This was a blow off top, right? So you might not get a push up to the 50% retracement. It could stall out here and then look lower, because they do have to do something to stop this insanity, and they have. So if you look at this inversely, then that's the way the Turkish lira would look, right? Inverse to this. So that's a bullish bounce on their side of things. But if it's not the Turkish lira, if this is not the Turkish lira, it looks exactly like it. But those are your technical levels on the 8-hour. What's up, Dre? Shh. I still hold some crypto, yet am at personal all-time high, even with this blood in crypto, because stocks are at all-time high. Yep, that's fantastic, man. I'm glad you're at a personal all-time high. That's fantastic. That's the way it should be done. That equity curve needs to look like this. That's what your equity curve should look like, with very few of these. Very few. Yeah, you can get that island. Might need to get one for sale in the Caribbean, or the Caribbean. Yes. Right now, lands, everything, properties, housing, everything's all-time highs. Right now is, in my opinion, not a time to buy houses or land, but that's just my opinion. Run DMC 555. Oh, West Swiss franc move was after peg stop by SMB, which is extremely powerful. Is that what's going on in Turkey? No, it's not. No, it's not. That's not what's going on in Turkey. Turkey has got runaway inflation. Wes answers it pretty good right there, right below me. Good morning, Heath. What's a good crypto to get into? ETH, Matic, 88. Right now, I don't know. I don't know, man. Like I said, the 4-year market cycle model has done really good at keeping Bitcoin in line. And if you've just been following that, then you should have exited in December on Bitcoin. If you're not following that, then who knows, right? A lot of analysts that did get started in buying Bitcoin before the previous halving that we just had, they were looking at the 4-year model, the 4-year cycle model. That's what essentially got them to get long. But now that they've gotten long, now that we're in December where they should be calling a top, or they should be exiting their positions and getting their sheeple to do the same thing, now they're saying that there's probably not even going to be a bear market for Bitcoin. Yeah, probably not ever going to see a bear market in Bitcoin again. It's just going to go to the moon, just straight to the moon forever and ever. It's insane. That's insane. Bitcoin has had a bear market every single 4-year market cycle. There's only been 2 of them though, right? This will be the 3rd, so we'll see. I'm not calling for a bear market, but it's not very, very good to just sit and think about these markets as a one-sided thing only. Of course, I love Bitcoin, and I'm gonna keep buying it. I haven't seen any reason to not buy Bitcoin, but I do think that it's gonna go lower. I do think that there will be a bear market at some point. There has to be. That's how markets work. The markets are cyclical. XU100 is a Turkey stock market. Got you. So it's like the S&P 500. Well, that looks very similar to the lira. Let's see here. I know some people usually ask me to look at, what is it? ICP. Like, I don't know anything about it. There it is. But like, it's had a bounce, right? And that's what we were looking for to occur. So that was a decent trade. Is it something to buy long term? Probably not, because in the bullish market of all bull markets, thanks to the Fed, this thing has been going straight down, not up. So that it's inherently weaker than everything else. But if you are looking to buy cryptos, you just got to do your own due diligence. You got to essentially look into the white paper, see what they're about, see what their mission statement is. Do they make money? Because people are calling them currencies. They're not. They're companies. It's cryptocurrencies are essentially crypto stocks. That's all they are. Do they make money? Are they making money? Is there potential for it to expand and grow and all those things? If so, then it's a good investment. But price action will generally show you what's good and what's not. But right now you're at the top end of the range. The bull market could be over. We don't know that it is, but it could be. So I wouldn't be looking to invest in anything right now. Everything's at all-time highs and monetary policy is about to change. So you got to wait. You just got to be patient. And it's simple as that. All right, guys, I'm going to end it there. I ran over a little bit, but that's all good. If you have any comments or questions, as always, just drop them in the comment section. I did already get rid of the first video, so you shouldn't get stumped with that. Yeah, we'll see you again on Thursday morning. And for you members and Patreons, we will get back on schedule with the members only live stream this Sunday. Maybe we'll do one Friday too for last Sunday or something, because Friday's pretty good open for me so far. So we'll see. We'll play it by ear. You guys have a fantastic day. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. And trade safe, trade smart, and as always, happy trading, everybody.